It's that time of year where a lot of platforms and networks are putting out their list of the top college football programs and college football head coaches in the nation. And let me tell you, Dabo Swinney is getting absolutely disrespected.
You are Locked On Clemson, your daily podcast on the Clemson Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Locked On Clemson podcast. I'm your host, John Bivens. You can find me on X, on Twitter, right here at I am John Bivens over there. Would love to hear you over there. Give us a follow, give us a shout out. But thanks so much for making Locked On Clemson your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcast at and over on YouTube. And we are a part of the amazing Locked On Podcast Network, where it is your team every day. We are here on Locked On Clemson, bringing you three things: all sports, all passion, all of the time. And we are bringing you everything you need to know about the Clemson athletics, about Clemson sports. Today is Monday, May 20th. In today's episode, we're going to break down a lot of networks are putting out their list of top college football head coaches right now. We're going to talk about that and give you our list. We're also going to go through, talk about our predictions for the ACC Baseball Tournament. The bracket's set, matchups are set. We're going to see how that goes, give our predictions. And of course, we're going to end this episode on this Monday morning with our Monday momentum. Today's episode is brought to you by LinkedIn. These days, every new potential hire can feel like a high-stakes wager for your small business. That's why LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the right people for your team faster and for free. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. Terms apply. So college football is going wild right now. People are talking about it. People are all over it. And over the weekend, I hope you had a great weekend. But over the weekend, I was all over Twitter, and I'm seeing people post about their list of top college football head coaches. I'm seeing them with the game coming out soon, and they just released a trailer. Everybody's talking about that, and I feel like college football, I never remember it being this talked about in the middle of May, which I love it. I love the fact that it's getting all this attention and hype. Absolutely. But usually right now it's not getting this much traffic, but goodness, everybody's talking about it. So, but with that being said, a lot of platforms, a lot of networks, a lot of big sports networks that cover the sport are putting out their list of their top 10 or their top 5 or their top 25 head coaches in college football right now. And as I'm scrolling through all those, as I'm looking through those and I'm dissecting them, I'm trying to dive in and see who's talking about what, who's saying what opinions out there, all that kind of stuff. As I'm going through those, I'm a little upset. I'm hot and bothered, like it's what's going on. Dabo Swinney, I've seen him everywhere from number 2 all the way to number 9. I don't understand how you can put Dabo down to 9. I just don't get that. I really don't understand it. CBS has put out theirs. Fox Sports has put out theirs. There's so many different platforms that have put theirs out there. And so we're going to talk about all those. We're going to dive through. The one we're going to look at the most right now is CBS Sports. They put theirs out, and I just like the format. The only reason I'm picking theirs is simply because their layout is by far the best. Their user interface over on their website is easily the easiest to navigate. You don't have to click on 14 different pages to see them all. So that's what we're going with there. But on Twitter, I saw one the other day post that Dabo Swinney wasn't a top 25. And if it was by like a fan account of a South Carolina school or SEC school or another ACC school, I'd be like, whatever, you're just a fan talking, no big deal. But no, it's by like a guy that has thousands of followers that post a lot about college football, and he seems to be pretty neutral. I saw that and I was like, really? What are we even talking? What are we even saying right now? So we're going to go through CBS, see where they have the CBS and Fox align pretty much with all the major networks. There's a little bit of differences, but we're going to go through there. We're not going to talk about all top 25. CBS actually put their top 68 out there, but we're just going to go through what ACC coaches are listed in the top 25, and then where's Dabo, and we'll talk about that. We'll go through all of their top 5. So the first ACC school at number 24, they have Notre Dame. Marcus Freeman's up there. Last year, he had his first 10-win season with Notre Dame. He's been there for 2 seasons, going 19-7. So pretty good. He wasn't in the top 25 last year. He is this year. So he's there. They also have a new quarterback coming, right? They got Riley Leonard, who was one of the best transfers this year. So people are predicting they're going to make the playoffs. They think they're going to be up there. So excited to see that. Marcus Freeman's up there. Keeping going, Louisville. Louisville came in with Jeff Brom. He came up at 19. His final 2 seasons at Purdue, he went 17-9. And then he came back, and he immediately last year led Louisville to a 10-win season, brought them to the ACC championship game. It was big, right? They had a big momentum. They had a big shift, having them go to the ACC championship game. That was big. That Louisville's on the up and coming. There was exciting to see them there. I love seeing all these ACC schools. It brings my heart happiness. Number 16, they have Dave Doran. This guy, I don't know. I feel like one year he's one of the worst coaches, and NC State's gone for him to get fired, and now he's like one of the best coaches in the league. I don't understand. I don't understand the hype. I don't understand the hate. To me, he's a middle-of-the-road coach. Later on this offseason, we're going to bring in a buddy of mine who's a huge NC State fan, follows them in all sports. He knows what he's talking about when it comes to the Wolfpack. So we'll bring him in, try to get his opinion on Dave Doran and that kind of breakdown. But, yeah, so they came in at number 16, and then as we keep going through the ACC, number 8 on the list was Mike Norvell. Mike Norvell, I think 8 is a good spot for him. I think what he's doing at Florida State is special. He's bringing in transfers. He's growing the program. He's seeing people get up there. Last year, he got snubbed from the playoffs. I don't care what you say. Florida State should have been in. You can't leave a team out based on injury. Would they have gotten demolished? Absolutely. Would I have loved to see them get demolished? Absolutely. But still, they earned it. They earned that playoff spot last year. You can't leave them out due to an injury. I don't think that's fair. I think if that's the case, you can. What's the point in playing all the? If you're only going to look at what the roster looks like at that point, what's the point in playing the entire season leading up to the playoffs? Just base it off of the top rosters instead of ignoring their season. So that bothered me. We'll still talk about that. I know that was a while ago, but Mike Norvell, I love what he's doing over there. He's definitely bringing this program. Who after the whole Jameis Winston phase where they were really good, they kind of went down, had a losing season here and there, and then he's bringing them up. So I'm happy with him there. I'm not a big fan. Part of me is like, that accent, the way he talks is just it's so thick. It's you worry sometimes. But anyway, I like having them at 8. I love having another coach in the top 10. And then right here they have Clemson's Dabo Swinney falling in at spot number 3. Fox Sport has Dabo at number 2. Like we said, so many other platforms have him lower in the top 5, even lower in the top 10, some out of the top 25, which is stupid. But Dabo, they have him at 3. That's where they had him last year. Last year he was at 3, behind Nick Saban and John Harbaugh, I believe. I don't believe Kirby Smart or Ryan Day was above him last year. But they have him 3 here. The biggest reason I'm seeing from the bigger programs that have him at 3 is because of the transfer portal. It's what you can imagine. They're saying he can bring in a transfer, or they can bring in recruits. He can recruit with the best of them. He's a great coach when it comes to schemes, when it comes to player development. When it comes to coaching and raising up his staff and the media and getting his team to fight for him, he checks every single box other than the transfer portal. And because of that, they have him down at 3. On their list, the other coaches in the top 5 is they have Steve Sarkisian at Texas at number 5, Brian Kelly and LSU at 4, Dabo at 3, Ryan Day at Ohio State as 2, and Kirby Smart with Georgia at 1. Here's my problem. Here's my biggest problem when it comes to college football programs as a whole. You know how many college football head coaches right now have won a national championship in the Power 4? I'll give you a couple seconds. You can pause the video if you want to guess. And so here's how many coaches he had. You ready? There's 3 head coaches right now in Power 4 conferences that have won a national champion. Number 1, you got Kirby Smart. He's won it 2 times, right? He's won them 2 recently. Dabo Swinney has won 2 within the past 8 years, right? So again, not old school, but still pretty recent. And then you have Mac Brown, who won it years and years and years ago, who retired since then and has came back to Carolina. So there's 3 head coaches in all of college football that have won a national championship. I don't understand. I understand Mac Brown should not be ranked that high. He hasn't had the success. He hasn't had the system. I think he should be up there, but I don't think he should be top 5. I'm not saying that at all. Dabo Swinney, there's no way he should be behind Ryan Day. Ryan Day especially, they missed the college football playoff last year. They failed to win the Big Ten or to even beat Michigan the past 3 years. there's Ryan Day's success. His recent success hasn't been there. And people are like, oh, well, you can't give Dabo the number 2 because of his recent success. He has the exact same success as Ryan Day, but better. Even better, especially if you look at like home field advantage since 2021. We're tied for the best with Alabama, only losing 3 games at home. It's Dabo's recent success is higher than Ryan Day, but yet people are like, oh, Ryan Day's recent success is better. No, it's not. They haven't won their division. They haven't won their conference. They haven't beat their rival. They are playing the exact same level we are. So I don't understand how he is higher, especially he hasn't won a national championship. He hasn't won a trophy. I don't understand that. So that's my big bum. How I would personally, how I would rank the college football head coaches right now. Dabo Swinney, Kirby Smart are 1 and 2. I'm going to say, as an unbiased person, put Kirby Smart 1 just because his recent success is higher. Last year, there's an argument they would have won it, right? I would put him at number 1. Dabo Swinney easily number 2. And I think there's a big gap. I think it's 1, 2, and then way down here is 3. Good bit down below. I would put Ryan Day at 3 just for consistency, the consistency he's had over the past couple of bit. And then at 4, I would go Steve Sarkisian from Texas. What he's doing at Texas is huge. I think he's building that program. He's doing great. He's getting them in the SEC. I think he's going to see success in the SEC, maybe win that division or win that conference. So I have him at 4. And then at 5, hot take, don't hate me, I got Keelan Dobir. I got the new head coach from Alabama. He led Washington to the Pac-12 title. He got him to the college football national championship game, and now he's at Alabama. I know he hasn't been there yet. He hasn't done anything yet except for transfers, recruits, but I have him at number 5. I think he's really going to have success. So those are my top 5 head coaches in college football right now. Hey, let us know your thoughts. Drop a comment. Hit us up on Twitter. Send us a comment about what you think those thoughts are. What would be your top 5 right now? Where do you have Dabo ranked? We'll talk about that. Let us know. We'd love to hear feedback on all of that. In just a moment, ACC Baseball Bracket is released. We're going to talk about that and so much more in just 1 second. We've got to give a shout out to one of our sponsors today for LinkedIn Jobs. When you're hiring for small businesses, you want to find quality professionals that are right for the role. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs has the tool to help the right professionals for your team faster and for free. I've used LinkedIn Jobs on both the employee and the employer side, and let me tell you, they are easy and the best place on the market to use. LinkedIn isn't just a job board, but they help you hire professionals you can't find anywhere else. Even those who aren't actively searching for a new job might still be open to the perfect role. In a given month, over 70% of LinkedIn users don't visit other leading job sites. So if you're not LinkedIn on LinkedIn, you're looking in the wrong place. On LinkedIn, 86% of small businesses get a qualified candidate within 24 hours. Hire professionals like a professional on LinkedIn. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. That's linkedin.com/lockedoncollege to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. And here we are, back on the Locked On Clemson podcast. One thing that I think doesn't get anywhere near as much credit as possible is the college baseball. I think college baseball, especially postseason, doesn't get the love, doesn't get the recognition, doesn't get the publicity that it deserves. And it is exciting to watch. It is something that is super exciting. It's got different events. It's got big things happening. I don't understand why it doesn't get the love that it does. But ACC baseball, the bracket set for the ACC tournament in baseball, the bracket set, we're excited to watch. We're excited to be there. Just as a reminder, how it works is it goes through and there's all 12 teams make it into the ACC Baseball Championship bracket. The bottom teams that aren't in the top 12 don't make it. They don't have a chance, but those 12 are then sorted into 4 pools, Pool A, B, C, and D. And it goes Pool A is 1, Pool B is 2, Pool 3 is C, Pool D is 4, and then 5 is D, 6 is C, or 7 is B, 8 is A, and then 9D, 10C, 11B, 12A. And so that's how the bracket is divided up between those matchups. And then what happens is they play a round robin where each team plays the other team twice. So In each Pool A, Team 1 would play Team 2, and then Team 1 would play Team 3, and Team 2 would play Team 3. The team that comes out with the best record advances out of their pool and goes on to a single elimination matchup, and then the teams that don't are eliminated. And then after that, after those winners, they then go on to play the winners of all 4 of the pools. Those matchups go on to play. So right now, Clemson got the number 2 seed. The fact that we got a 2 seed is hard to believe. We'll talk about more as we talk about Monday momentum, but Clemson got the 2 seed. Here's the rankings right now. In Pool A, you have North Carolina, Wake Forest, and Pitt. In Pool B, you have Clemson, Louisville, and Miami. Pool C, you have NC State, Duke, and Virginia Tech. Pool D, you have Virginia, Florida State, and Georgia Tech. Those are the pools matchup. When you go through common predictions right now, a lot of people are saying North Carolina. Some people are saying Clemson. What's hard to believe is at the beginning of this baseball season, Wake Forest was listed they were the number 1 preseason team in the nation, and they were very heavily favored to win the ACC. They're coming into the tournament at an 8 seed. They had a good non-ACC overall record. ACC, they went like 500. So hard to believe there, but that's the matchup. When you go through predictions right now, like I said, Tar Heels are favored. Clemson's up there. Wake Forest, some people are still predicting them. Florida State's getting some love. So we're going to go through. We're going to give our predictions. We're going to go through and give our predictions on who's going to make it out of the pools, who we think is going to be the ACC Baseball Championship. And then next Monday, the championship game is this coming Sunday. So next Monday, a week from today, we'll post another episode recapping our thoughts, recapping how our predictions went in the championship. So Pool A, North Carolina, Wake Forest, and Pitt. Tar Heels are playing really well right now. They're playing solid. Wake Forest, of course, you can never count out. And Pittsburgh squeaked in, barely skipping out of those 2 teams that didn't make it. So that's Pool A. I think Carolina is going to beat Pittsburgh. I think Wake Forest is going to beat Pittsburgh. I think whoever wins that matchup of North Carolina and Wake Forest, that's going to be a tough one. That's the one that's going to be like, ooh, who's going to win that game? I'm going to lean towards the upset. I think Wake Forest is going to lead. They're going to make it out of that. Tar Heels are good. Wake Forest is a different beast. They're a different program, especially postseason. They've got the history. They're always good. They've got elite pitching. So I think Wake Forest wins a close one over North Carolina to be the winner out of Pool A. Pool B, Clemson has Louisville and Miami with them. Clemson played a series at Louisville, won that series, lost 1 game because they blew a lead. They played a series at Miami, won that series, lost 1 game because they blew one in the 9th inning. So overall, I think Clemson has this. They're playing right now on a neutral site in Charlotte, which is a beautiful field. I think Clemson's going to escape this. I think Clemson will beat both Louisville and Miami. And then we'll see I think probably Louisville will beat Miami, but Clemson's going to walk out of there, be your Pool B champion. Pool C, you got NC State, Duke, and Virginia Tech. This is a tough one. I think NC State's playing really well. Duke is playing surprisingly well recently, and then Virginia Tech they're a good baseball team. But I think NC State will probably head out. I think they're not going to get out of this one. I know a lot of people are calling for that. I'm going to say Duke escapes this one. I think Duke's going to walk out of Pool C with the winner there. They're going to escape through there. And so North Carolina Pool A, Clemson Pool B, Wake Forest Pool A, Clemson Pool B, Duke Pool C, and then Pool D is a tough one. Pool D always feels like it's back and forth, but they got the 4-seed Virginia, 5-seed Florida State, 9-seed Georgia Tech. And so for these pool matchups, if 2 teams tie in record, say they go 1-1 with another team, if that's the case, the higher seed wins. And I think this one is going to be that. I think Virginia and Florida State, when they play, I think Virginia's going to win. But I think Virginia's going to slip up to Georgia Tech, and Florida State will beat Georgia Tech. And because of that, Virginia's going to be the winner of Pool D based on their 1-seed higher rankings. So Florida State, again, is going to get snipped based on rankings. So Pool A champion, Wake Forest. Pool B, Clemson. Pool C, Duke. Pool D, Virginia. So when they go up, the matchups will be Pool A and Pool D. So Virginia will play Wake Forest. I do think Virginia will win. Wake Forest, again, I know I said they're a different beast, but I think Virginia's bats are coming alive at the right moment. I think Virginia will win that game. And then B and C will play. So Clemson will play Duke. Duke beat Clemson recently. Towards the end of the season, Duke beat Clemson. But I don't think that'll happen again. I think Coach Barrick is going to get Clemson where they need to be. Aiden Canuck has a beast on the mound. We've got our pitchers there. Our Blake Wright is hitting the ball really well. So I think Clemson will win that mode. And then the championship game will be Virginia versus Clemson, and I think Clemson's going to repeat. I think Sunday at noon, Clemson's going to walk home with the ACC championship game. Winners, champions, back-to-back years, continuing beating them more. They have more ACC champions than any other school in baseball, and I think they're going to add one more to the list. So we are predicting that Clemson will be the ACC baseball championship this year, which wouldn't be our first championship this year. We've got soccer, the golf's playing really well, so we're excited about that. But yeah, I think Clemson is going to walk away. That's not fan bias. That's honestly looking at the team, looking at the talent, looking at where programs are at. So I think Clemson will be there. Again, next Monday, a week from today, we'll come back and we'll digest what we're talked about. We'll digest our picks. So in just a moment, we're going to continue this conversation going as we bring in our next segment of Momentum Monday. We'll see you in just a moment.
Guess what, guys? It's winner take all time in the NBA and the NHL, and FanDuel is giving you a shot to bring home a big win of your own. Guess what? The NBA playoffs are here. Anthony Edwards is absolutely killing it. And plus, if you're into the NHL, we got some slap shots you can bet on. The Carolina Hurricanes are in the second round right now, so I need you to go to that bad boy and check it out, because here's what new customers can get. $150. Yes, you heard that correctly. $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. Let me repeat that. $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. And I'm telling you, you can bet on anything from the spreads, the money lines, player props, and much, much more. I'm telling you, $150, oh my God, you can win some money. All you got to do is pay attention and go to FanDuel.com/locked-on. The website is FanDuel.com/locked-on, LOCKEDON, and make every playoff shot count. FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook.
And here we are, back on your Locked On Clemson podcast. Hey, thanks so much for joining us. We talk about this again, but we are so grateful for our everydayers. We're grateful for those of you who stick around, listen to us every single day, join in on the conversation over on YouTube with the comments and over on Twitter, tweeting us with us. So we appreciate y'all. We are grateful for everything y'all do, and we're just grateful for this family here at Locked On Clemson. For our everydayers, this next segment is going to be something you're used to. Every Monday, we end the episode with our Monday Momentum. What that is we go through and we talk about what is going on in Clemson sports right now that has momentum. What's going on in conversations, what's going on in the buzz, what's going around in the sport, what's going on in the college that's creating some momentum, either high or low, when it comes to Clemson University. And so we have two different Momentum Mondays, two different things to talk about here on this Monday, on May 20th. The first one is the conversation we were just in with baseball. I think baseball right now, their momentum, I know they come in at the 2 seed in the ACC. They still don't have that high momentum. They still don't beat one. They're still not where you want them to be. They started off with 3 losses in over 30 games. 3 losses. They only lost 3 times. Since then, they've lost a whole lot more. They've almost went 500. They're not 500. They're a little above it, but we struggled. We have struggled to end this season. It feels like we're limping across the finish line. For a team to go from where they were to where they are now in the span of like 30 games, that's hard to do. They were a clear favorite for the ACC, and now we didn't even get the 2 seed. So seeing that, hearing that happen, it's got to cause some worry. Hopefully, a couple of days off right now, as we don't play again until Thursday. A couple of days off will give us a little bit of a break when it comes to what's going to happen when it comes to the ACC tournament. Hopefully, it can cause a break. But right now, I'm a little worried about where Clemson is in the ACC. The momentum they're bringing into this tournament scares me just a little bit. So we're worried about that. The next momentum we want to talk about is different. I know we talked about good or bad momentum. Right now, Dabo Swinney and Clemson football has some momentum. I know you're being like, how is that the case? It's the off season. The window's been closed for a couple of weeks. What are you talking about? Dabo's been in the media a lot recently. They have been in the media so much recently, and that's exciting. It's sometimes concerning because when you're in the media, I mean, there's the phrase that good news is or good press is any press, right? There's no such thing as bad press. But I don't know. He's been getting a lot of flack, a lot of attention. He's been getting a lot of looked at. So with his comments on the portal, with his radio interviews, with all that, when it comes to who he is, when it comes to everything like that, he's got some momentum going on right now. He said the comment we broke down last week. If you didn't hear, go check it out. It was a couple episodes ago about his comment how every single player is a transfer, just some are from high school. That got a lot of attention. He had the comment where people misconstrued, where he said that all transfer or just the most transfers in the portal this year weren't good enough to play at Clemson. He said most. Edwards took that as he meant all. That's not what he said. But that comments got a little bit of stuff. Like there's a lot of press right now. There's a lot of attention. There's a lot of comments. There's a lot of things going around when it comes to Dabo Swinney. And with that, there's a lot of momentum. Now, is Dabo going to take what is happening and shift it up? Is he going to use it to light this team on fire? Is he going to use it and it's going to hurt him? Like, we don't know where that's going to go. I think Dabo's going to use it for the benefit. I think it's going to be great. But he's got a lot of momentum around him right now. He's got a lot of things going on. He's got a lot of people talking. He's got a lot of attention right now. And it's really exciting to see where that's going to go, where that's going to lead him to lead this team. Is he going to – you never know. What if all this press, what if all this negative hate, being top 9 in the college football head coaches rankings, what if all this leads to him pulling this team, lighting the fire under him, and pulling up a huge upset week 1 against Georgia, right? You don't know where it could go. It could go that way. It could also go into another mediocre season with 4 losses. We'll have to see where it goes, but right now you can't deny, with all the attention, with all the press, with all the highlights, with all the comments, with all the reports surrounding Dabo Swinney and Clemson football with the transfer, there's momentum there. There's things happening. Energy is moving. We just got to see which way it pushes them, which way it leans them. So those are our Momentum Mondays. We also, golf's playing well. Golf's in the tournament right now. Baseball, or their men's golf is playing well. Women's golf played well. So we're excited to see that. So there's just, Clemson sports has a buzz around it. Right now, that's a great time to be a Clemson Tiger fan. Every day is a great day to be a Clemson Tiger fan. But right now is really exciting. And so, but with all that being said, that is going to wrap up this episode of the Locked On Clemson podcast. Hey, later on this week, we're going to dive into some specific matchups for Clemson baseball. We're going to talk more about football as we talk about that matchup with Georgia, and we got a noon kickoff time, so we'll talk about that and so much more. But again, we would love to hear your comments. We'd love to hear your feedback on today's episodes. What's your predictions for the ACC Baseball Tournament? What's your thoughts on our Monday momentum? What's your thoughts on the college football head coach rankings? Where do you see Dabo? Who's your number one? Let us know all those over on Twitter right here at I am John Bivens, or you can email me, thetigerwire@gmail.com. Comment on YouTube. Let us know your thoughts. We'd love to hear feedback, to have a conversation with you. If you haven't, make sure you're subscribed to this podcast wherever you get your podcast at. And if you're watching us over on YouTube, hit that subscribe button over there. That way, every single day, we can be your first listen here on the Locked On Clemson podcast. We can't wait to see you on tomorrow's episode. But until then, keep that Tiger pride alive and roaring. And as always, go Tigers.